Top 5 custom Glock slides that you can buy off the shelf today. I do have coupon codes for every single one of them. I will put a link below and you'll be able to get all the coupon codes and the links. Number 1 are the Brownells Glock Slides. These are definitely the most affordable slides that are on this list. They have these available for Glock 19, they have them available for Glock 17, and they have the Glock 19 long slide that I did a review on not too long ago, and I absolutely love their slides. Now, you'll notice here, this is their Glock 19 slide. You'll notice that the edges up here are very squared off. And a few people have mentioned that they wouldn't fit in their holsters. And I never had any issues with them fitting into any of my holsters. However, Brownells did hear everyone, and so they fixed it. And you can see that here on the Glock 19 long. They got a nice little chamfer that goes all the way up. It makes it a lot less boxy and more apt to fit any of your holsters that you have. And with the Brownells Glock Slides, they have a few different options. Number 1, you can get them with or without an RMR cut. This one has been cut for an RMR. Downside to these slides is they don't come with a RMR cover plate. However, I do have a coupon code to where you can pick these up from Maple Leaf Firearms. He does make these, so there will be a coupon code over at the blog post if this is a slide you want to get. You know, now this one is like a raw, unfinished one, but he does do some nicer looking ones like this. He can Cerakote them. He has anodizing. I think he even has titanium ones now, and they're super freaking affordable. I think they're like $20 or $25, but I even have a coupon code for more off of that. I will say this, what I love about the Brownells Glock Slides are, 1, you have multiple options. Like I said, you can get, you know, an RMR cut, or you could choose not to get an RMR cut. You can also get them with top window cuts, or you could choose not to get top window cuts. I believe pretty much all of them, except for the 19 long, are under $200. Now, let's talk about the Glock 19 long slide real fast, because I wanted to answer some questions that people had from my previous video. So the Glock 19 long slide is essentially a Glock 17 length slide that is made to fit a Glock 19 frame. With that, a lot of people had a few different questions. Answer to your question number 1, you need a Glock 19 long barrel in order for it to work, because the Glock 17 barrels, they have thicker lugs, and if you put them in the slide and put it on a Glock 19 frame, it's gonna get stuck and you probably won't get your slide off. I mean, without ruining the slide. Number 2, they do use the stock OEM Glock 19 guide rods, which is really nice. You get the Glock 19 long slide, a Glock 19 long barrel. You can get them threaded or non. These are made by Brownells as well. And like I said, I'll have coupon codes and links at the blog post. And you put it on your 19 frame. Now, there is one thing that a lot of people asked. Well, couldn't you just take this and put it onto a Glock 17? So I tried that. And what I did was I took this barrel out, I put a Glock 17 barrel in it, put a Glock 19 guide rod, put it on my Glock 17 frame, and it won't work. Now, you can fire it and it will shoot rounds. However, the downside is this little cutout right here for your slide lock is moved forward on the Glock 19 slides. And so, yeah, you can shoot rounds, but you're not gonna get that last round hold open that you get if you just ran a regular Glock 17 slide. Now, there are other options available for taking a Glock 17 slide and making it work on a Glock 19, which we will get into in the future. But like I said, right now, these are awesome slides, especially for the price. Now, what are the cons of these slides? Con number 1 is you get like 1 or 2 designs, like that's it. Con number 2 is you don't get to choose many of your colors. You just get black nitride. Now, I will say the nitride holds up way better than any Cerakote ever thought about holding up. If you choose to go with the one that doesn't have the window on the top, the serrations will actually cover the top of the slide. I've had great experiences with them. You know, the only complaint I've heard, like I said, was on the first iteration of them. They were a little too boxy, and some people had fitment issues with their holsters, and they have since corrected that by chamfering them. So there you go. Number 2. Now, I haven't really pulled this slide out a lot since I got it, and that's because I've just been inundated with other stuff, but the L2D combat slide. Now, this one is the Catalyst slide. This one is in one of their like distressed finishes. You know, you can get them in a multitude of different colors. They also have them in DLC, which is basically like nitriding or your OEM, you know, slide finishes. I believe every single one of these comes with an RMR cut on them, and you can choose to get them with suppressor height sights or without. And I did a review on this a long time ago, probably over a year ago now, but the dang thing runs like a champ. Now, the only issue that I had with this slide was when I first got it, it was a little bit tight on the rails. And I believe that they kind of oversprayed the inside of it with Cerakote. But after I racked it a few times, it started running flawlessly. So let's get a little close up here. You know, you got some front windows up here. You got some side serrations here, serrations along the back, and then on the top, you have some windows up here, and you do have serrations on the top. Now, their slides are bullnosed, which is very similar, which is basically identical to the Glock 26 or the new Gen 5s that just came out. They all have bullnose as well. One of the benefits to having a bullnose slide is it aids in reholstering. It kind of like if the edge of the slide hits the holster, it's kind of like a magwell. You know what I mean? It just guides into the holster easier. However, I haven't noticed any difference with them, and I actually prefer the squared off front Glock slides to the bullnose. I mean, the bullnose aren't bad, but when you put a comp on it, it just doesn't look quite right unless it's cut for that bullnose, and I haven't seen one yet. LTD Combat, they're definitely awesome. I do have a coupon code for their parts, and the cool thing about them is they make a ton of stuff. They don't just make slides. They made the suppressor height sights that are on here. They also have a lot of custom internals and guide rods and strikers and springs. They also have a trigger. Like I said, links and coupon codes will be at the blog post, but definitely a great option. And I can say from experience that their slides run 100% reliably. Number 2, Norsso CNC. Now, Norsso CNC started out as a company that you sent your slide to them and they would cut it and then send it back to you. However, they've always kind of dabbled in having slides ready to order, and they're actually going deeper into that. I've already done other videos on some of their other slides. If you want to see those videos, there will be a link down in the description below, so you can go check out the other Norsso slides, because I only have one of them here with me because I sent the others back to Norsso. But this one was amongst my favorite. This one is their Reptile, and I've done a video on this one as well, but this one is dead sexy. This one was cut specifically for the Vortex Viper. I don't know if they offer that with their pre-cut slides. I don't know. You'd have to check their website, but they do have these just ready to order. You don't got to send your slide in. So I don't know if they have them for the Vortex Viper as ready-made, but they definitely have them for Trijicon. But I mean, this thing is just to die for. If you look at this, look at that. I love the way this looks. And you know, it looks very reminiscent to a Reptile scales that are on here. If you want to see the full video, like I said, links down in the description. But this slide has ran like a champ. I love it. The other cool thing about Norsso is they're one of the few companies that are nitriding slides. So this one is nitrided, but you can get them in different Cerakote options as well. Runs like a rape Dave. Also have coupon codes for this over at the blog post. But I have nothing but great things to say about Norsso. I've been working with them since I pretty much started YouTube, and I've never had a single issue out of any of their slides. I've always just put them together, put them on my frame, take them to the range, never had a malfunction. So great things from Norsso. So next up is the Polymer 80 Glock slides. Now this one is a Glock 17 slide right here. What I love about their slides is they come in nitrides. This one is actually in a flat dark earth nitride, or you can get them in black nitride. They have them available right now for the Glock 17 and the Glock 19, and they just released not too long ago ones that have RMR cuts on them. When I first got this, there was no RMR cuts available from them. You would have to send off the slide and then have it milled. But nowadays they do have them with RMR cuts. Never had an issue with them. Let's get up close with this. So, I mean, they're basic, but they work. I love like how clean these slides are. Hardly any, there's only one little logo on the top. There are these angled serrations, but they cut into the slide. It's not just like a straight serration beveled into it. So no issues gripping it regardless of being nitrided. One of the big risks of a nitrided slide is if they get the serrations wrong, it's going to be super slippery. However, with this one, even when I'm not touching the serrations, they got the surface texture just right so you can still rack it even if you don't hit the serrations, but the serrations are very nice. Polymer 80 slides are good to go. Definitely love them. And like I said, you can now get them with the RMR cut. Totally awesome. And I've never had a single issue out of these. Next up is, you probably knew this was coming. This one is the sleeper build that I just literally did not too long ago with Legion Precision. Now, Legion Precision and I have been working on some stuff for a few months. You know, he came out with these minimalist slides right here. And this one has, you know, just some front serrations up here, some serrations back here, They're Cerakoted. They're Cerakoted to your preferences, and they are cut for the Trijicon RMR. RMR only. However, if you want something different, he also has them without the RMR cut. This is just a bare metal slide right here. This one is in bullnose, and I don't remember exactly, but he does have, I believe, the flat front and the bullnose available. But like I said, there'll be a link at my website where you can check it out. So if you don't want to use an RMR, you can get one of these and then send it off to whichever machine shop you want to do it, and they will, mill it out for whichever optic. Now, Legion Precision doesn't cut slides. He has these made, and then he Cerakotes them, things of that nature. So I believe I have like a $40 off coupon code for this one. Now this one, oh man, this one's dimpled. I mean, if you haven't seen the full video on this, man, I will put a link right up there so you can check that out. But it's almost like knurling, but it's not. It's dimpled, and I love this. It is just dead sexy. Right up there, honestly, with one of my favorite slides, just because it's super grippy, but it's got that real sleeper look to it. So a couple of quick things you should know about any of these aftermarket slides when you purchase them. Typically, when you purchase an aftermarket slide, there's not going to be a channel liner in the slide. You're going to need to get channel liners and probably like a bolt or a channel liner tool where you can install these. And so I will have links over at my blog post where you can get the channel liners, and the channel liner tools, and you can just boop, pop them right in. Not a problem. Also with these slides, I know that L2D Combat is making Gen 3 and Gen 4 slides, and I believe Norsso CNC has Gen 3 and Gen 4 slides. For the other companies that we talked about, Brownells, Legion Precision, and Polymer 80, they're all Gen 3 slides. However, this right here is a Gen 4 frame. And then this is a Gen 3 slide. So you can most definitely put a Gen 3 slide on a Gen 4 frame and it will run perfectly. The only downside is you will get that little bit of a gap there. There is an adapter that will fill that in. The adapter's a little expensive for what it is, but it definitely works. Like I said, I'll put a link over at my blog post so you can pick up one of those adapters if you want to use a Gen 3 slide on a Gen 4 frame. Bring that home. Unless you know what you're doing, I don't suggest doing this. You can make the Gen 4 slides fit a Gen 3 gun. However, it does compromise the integrity of the frame, and I don't suggest it because, honestly, this thing is in your hand. And, basically what people do is they take this huge drill bit and they widen this little section here so that the Gen 4 slides will fit. I don't recommend that. Like I said, just because you now are compromising the structural integrity of the frame, you don't want something blowing up in your hands. So that's my top 5 favorite off-the-shelf Glock slides that you can buy right now. Like I said, guys, it doesn't matter which one of these you go with. You're probably going to have a good experience. It doesn't matter if you go with the Brownells one. It doesn't matter if you go with the Legion Precision one or any of the other ones we talked about. Like I said, I do have coupon codes for every single one of these, and I will put a link to my blog post where you can get those coupon codes and links just in case it's something you're looking for. So let me know if you guys have any questions down in the comments section below, and also let me know which one of these 5 was your favorite and why. So if you like this video, just go ahead and hit the like button. If you don't like it, that's okay. You can just go away. I'm not going to judge you. But until next time, you guys stay sexy, and I love you.